This is the process of a narrative writing. It's pretty similar to an analytic writing piece. TAK, brainstorm / pick and choose, plan, core 4, conclusions, draft, revise / edit. The TAK is similar to the analytic writing TAK. It's topic, audience, and keywords. The narrative writing also has a pick and choose, but this is a little different. You have to write down all the details you want about the character, setting, problem, and solution, and highlight the parts that are important to your story. Then you have to do a plan. There are 2 plans, a plot diagram and a flow map. A plot diagram is basically a story mountain, which basically has an exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and resolution. This is the core 4, where I basically write the characters, time / place, simple declarative statement, and action. It's a little similar to the brainstorm, but also different. These are good hooks you could use for your narrative writing. So this is my TAK and circle map. My topic is about a story called Worm Roost. My audience are my parents and you guys. The key words are Worm Roost and dragons because this is about dragons. The characters are April, Essence, Ender Dragon, and Egg Dog. Settings: village, plains, caves, oceans, and end dimension, and nether. Problem: dragons destroy their village. Solution: they tame dragons. Your story can have more than one climax and also more than one problem and solution. The flow map is: village gets destroyed. They look through the village, make a house, dragons attack, meet Egg Dog, go to the nether. So you don't have to write all of the events, just the most important and interesting ones. And in the core 4, you also don't have to write every single core 4 slot, depending on what your story is about. So the characters are Essence, April, Egg Dog, and Dragon. Time, place is village, plains, caves, oceans, beach, and nether. So the conclusion is express emotion, which is mad. And here is another way you can plan your story. It's by using a story mountain or a plot diagram. Essence wants to be a dragon tamer. Essence and sister village gets destroyed by dragons. Essence, sister, village, dragons. Village gets destroyed by dragons. They get pet dragons, which is the climax or the most. This is the part where your reader wants to read, like he wants to read the most. Meets Egg Dog and goes into a portal. Chapter 1 of the story is called Life. Essence had no interest in killing dragons. Instead, he had the idea of trying to make the dragon his pet. His dad was in charge of killing all the wild dragons that might come and kill the people. So this is an introduction where I'm introducing the characters. Chapter 2, his family. No one but the dragon slayers and the Athens know that dragons can communicate. Essence, like his sister, are Athens. His parents knew this. Dragon slayers knew dragons could communicate because they saw dragons roaring at others and telling each other what to do. Asins can understand dragons, which is very helpful if they want to be a dragon tamer. You know what the dragon wants. The attack. Dragons haven't come anywhere near the village, and most dragon slayers thought this was a good thing, and that dragons were too scared. But the smarter dragon slayers knew the dragons were thinking of a plan. The village's happiness came to an end on one red blood moon night. On the night of the attack, the dragon broke in the walls, swarmed in every single direction, and the dragon slayers all got killed immediately. The village had to evacuate, but only Essence and his sister survived. What do we do now that we don't have a bed or a home? Asked April. Find a bed we could sleep in, said Essence. Okay, go find a bed. Okay, let's go find the bed, said April. They both found 2 remaining beds and found tons of food and armor in the blacksmith shop that was now almost completely burned down and destroyed. Chapter 5, The Night. First night for Essence wasn't the best. Zombies kept on trying to kill them. Luckily, they had iron swords to kill them easily. But they had to be careful. They couldn't take on dragons yet. But then Essence remembered he had his dragon killing kit that his dad gave him. He opened the kit and was surprised to find 2 sets of steel armor that were about the same as diamond, but a little weaker. Also found water bottles. This was a great start to their new adventure. This was a great start for their adventure. Needed a few blocks to make a fully functional house, but they didn't. They thought they would make a functional house in the morning. Now dragons are awake looking for food, and if they see them working on the house, they might kill Essence and his sister. And also, if they finish building the house without being killed, the dragons would suspect that there were a few survivors left. But both of them heard a growl of an overworld drake. Both of them hid below their covers and thought the overworld drake couldn't see them, and they were right. Chapter 6, The Next Morning. The next morning, Essence and his sister went to the cave to get some iron, coal, gold, and if they were lucky, they might find diamonds and rubies. They needed these materials to first off make stronger armor, so they had at least a chance of surviving zombies and skeletons. And second, they needed diamonds and rubies to make a few dragons trust them and make the dragons more powerful. They came back from their long mining trip. Essence broke down all the houses in the village to gather all the resources and went scouting for a new area for a house. He decided he would make a house in the plains biome. Not a lot of dragons come here, so it might be pretty safe to build a house. He made the house pretty tall, and the first floor made out of cobblestone, so dragons couldn't burn his house down. The scroll. Essence loved scrolls. He always kept a few scrolls with him. He pulled out a few scrolls out of his bag and sat on his bed and read it out loud. The Ender Dragon, the most feared dragon of them all. Even other dragons fear him. They call him the king of all dragons. He might not be the biggest, he might not be the strongest, but he is the most intimidating. He couldn't read the scroll properly. It was all scratched out. Chapter 3. Their First Dragon. Today was the day. Essence and his sister got their first dragon and decided to start easy and get a dragon that wasn't the hardest to get. They decided to get a silver glider. They live near the ocean, so Essence and his sister went in a search for an ocean. They found one pretty close to home, and it had an abundance of fish, the perfect place for a silver glider to live is the ocean. Essence made a camp and waited for a silver glider. As he waited, he found one pretty quickly and took out all the fish he had. He slowly approached the dragon, and the dragon was a little scared, but also wanted the fish. It came a little closer to Essence and took the fish, and then slowly took out another one and gave to the silver glider. Gave the silver glider all the fish it needed to trust him, and that wasn't a lot. He had to give it 6 fish, and it already trusted him. He was able to glide around with the silver glider. His sister also caught a female silver glider, which was a bit smaller and had a smaller tail. It couldn't fly that far. Chapter 9. In the end. In the end, the Ender Dragon was aware of what was happening, and he was not happy one bit. He was so mad that he sent a few overworld raids after Essence and his sister. Essence started to build a wall around, and he saw the overworld dragons coming their way. He warned his sister of the dragons. They both came outside and killed all the dragons using their bows and swords. They decided to relocate because they realized the dragons know where they live. Upon searching for an area where dragons don't come very often, they found another abandoned village. They took apart the entire village and will look for a place to call home. They settled in a little spruce forest. They decided to make their house out of spruce wood and pretty tall, 3 stories tall. Drakes. Essence sat down on his bed at night and took out a scroll called Drakes. He figured out that there were 2 different types of drakes, the overworld drake and the fruit drake. He already saw the overworld drake, but never saw the fruit drake. Luckily, the scroll had pictures of both of the dragons. When he looked at the picture of the overworld drake, he was surprised to see a white one instead of a green one. The fruit drake seems to be smaller than the overworld drake. Chapter 11. The New Dragon. He decided it was time to get a new dragon, so he decided to get an overworld drake. Here is how you can tame an overworld drake. There's only one way to tame an overworld drake, and that is by riding it like a horse until it likes you. He took out a saddle he found while mining, and he ran out into the open trying to find the overworld drake. His sister stayed back looking over the house. When Essence finally found an overworld drake, he threw the saddle onto the drake and jumped on its back. The drake threw him off, but he logically learned in water landed in water. He decided the best way to get the overworld drake was by luring it into the water. water. He kept on getting in on the overworld drake and getting thrown off into the water. Off into the water. The overworld drake was surprised that Essence kept on getting back. He liked Essence and became his friend. Essence understood the dragon pretty well. He went back home with the dragon. Essence was a little scared because she thought the dragon was a wild one. But Essence told his sister that there was nothing to worry about. Essence was pretty sure it was fine. You can see I have a lot of spelling mistakes and a lot of words that are wrong. So you have to go back and correct that. I'll come back and read chapter 12 after I finish correcting. I'm back from revising the other chapters. And here are 2 good strategies you should use when you're revising your writing. The first strategy is called arms. In arms, an arm means add, remove, move, and substitute. The second strategy is cups, which means capitalize, usage, punctuation, and spelling. If you use these 2 strategies to check your writing, you will make sure you have no wrong. You will have a perfectly clean essay or narrative writing. Chapter 12, Royal Red and Royal Black. Essence had also noticed a few red dragons flying in the air, breathing blue fire. He never really knew what those dragons were, but his dad told him to stay away from them. Essence always thought that those dragons were weak and not really too strong. But when he realized that they normally lived in mountains, because they always seen them near mountains, Essence took out a scroll called Royal Red Dragons. The scroll was in a different language, known as Dragnasia. Essence ran into the scroll and realized that dragons he saw. Sometimes there will be a lot of mistakes in your writing that you should definitely fix. So let me quickly fix this scroll and realize the dragon he saw breathing. This also might help you if you're bad at spellings, because if you don't know a spelling of one word, you can keep on practicing it by writing the story. Royal Red Dragons. The thing that surprised him the most was there was a dragon that looked just like the Royal Red, but was black. When he saw that photo, he remembered the white overworld drake he saw in one of the other scrolls. He took out another scroll called Rare Dragons. The scroll explained how there aren't just one type of dragons, but there are also rare variants that make the dragons more powerful. Chapter 13, Inferno and Burn. Essence decided to go into a mine shaft and look for some name tags to name his dragons. He decided to name his silver glider Breeze, and he decided to name his overworld drake Emerald. His sister decided to name her silver glider Moon because her dragon's color looked a lot like the moon. Essence decided it was time to get one of the most powerful dragons, the Royal Red, he read about a few nights ago. He went to the mountain biome where they normally found. With his sister, they traveled on Essen's overworld drake, since April did not have an overworld drake. It took them about 2 days to reach a mountain biome. When they found one, they waited until it was night when the royal reds were sleeping. So yeah, I'm having to use my strategies a lot here. But this is okay, because if you don't, then you might have nothing to improve on, which I'm not really sure. But okay. Essence's sister went around looking for a royal red. When she found one, she said, "I'll take this royal red," and caged the royal red in a box and started hitting the royal red until the royal red was very low on health. The royal red was resting on the ground, and Essen's sister gave the royal red some meat so it liked Essen's sister. After that, so there is tons of mistakes. But this is okay. You're supposed to have mistakes. It's not like you have a perfect essay in just when you start writing it. You have to revise it. After that, Essence went looking for his own royal red. After he found one, he was so shocked that he couldn't even move. It was black. He caged the dragon in quickly and kept on hitting the dragon with his sword until it took some meat from him, and she became... Wait, that's not supposed to be a she, it's supposed to be a he. And he became best friends with the royal red, which he decided to call royal black, but his real name would be Inferno. When they reached home, his sister named her dragon Burn, and Essence named his dragon Inferno. Other dimensions and Eggdog, the master of eggs. I'm going to be skipping this one because this one is supposed to be funny, and I'm just going to be doing the serious one. Essence decided to go check on his dragons and how they were doing. He saw that they were laying eggs. If I can't eat an egg dog, I'll eat the dragon eggs. Yeah, I guess I'll have to read the chapter before here to really understand. Deep in the deepest points of the Nether, an army is waiting for the right time to strike fear among the overworld. The Nether army is working with the end. Eggdog is aware of this evil plan, so he decided to tell Essence and his sister what the Nether was doing. He decided to travel to the overworld. Eggdog traveled for about 2 days. He ran and ran and ran and ran. When he reached, Essence thought Eggdog was an egg that could talk and tried to eat Eggdog. But his sister stopped him and said, "This is the famous Eggdog." Essence said, "Yes, and you eat egg dogs," with a long pause. He said, "Don't you eat them?" "No," said Essence's sister. "Okay, then what do you do with them?" said Essence. "Ask him why he is here," Essence said. Essence asked, "Are you here to be eaten?" "What? No, who asked that?" His sister pushed him to the side and asked, "What are you doing?" Eggdog said, "The Nether is trying to kill you too." "Now can we eat him?" Essence asked April. "No," April shouted. "But what about the 46 diamond knife? Can anybody tell me in the comments what a 46 diamond knife means?" "What? Who cares about a 46 diamond knife?" "I do," Essence replied. "Okay, Eggdog, get into the frying pan and stay here." "JK," said Essence. Everyone laughed. Eggdog said, "I will stay. But seriously, you're here to be eaten, right?" Dragon egg. Essence decided to go check on his dragons and how they were doing. He saw that they were laying eggs. "If I can't eat an egg dog, I will eat the dragon eggs." His sister heard him and kicked him in the head. You will have baby dragons. Essence realized that he was more dumber than a raccoon. I just want to eat eggs, he said. Then the dragon eggs hatched with the best moment of everyone's life. They thought a dragon hatching changed the dragon. It was a baby royal red, and another one hatched. It's baby silver glider twins. Nether. Essence went into the cave to mine obsidian to make a nether portal. After he made the nether portal, he and his sister were ready to go into the nether, and Eggdog stayed behind. However, the nether was prepared, and they knew Essence and his sisters were coming, so they had a few pigmen brutes and a few hoglins surrounding the portal. Some of this book is kind of a joke, and so narrative writing is basically writing where you make things up, so you're making it so it's not real life, or you're not writing a summary or comparing two texts. A narrative writing is just when you do a normal, where you're writing on your own, making up your own story. So this is what I did. So yeah, it can be funny, it can be serious, it can be scary, it can be anything you want. A few hoglins surrounding the portal. Essence had a feeling they were going to come, so he took out his crossbow and shot 3 arrows into the portal. And 3 different pigmen brutes died. So yeah. Tried to kill all the pigmen brutes, but they were soon outnumbered and had to run out of the portal and followed them. They jumped on their dragons and burned the pigmen brutes. In the nether, the hoglins were still alive, but when the dragons came, they were burned to death as well. Chapter 16, Nether Drake. Travel deeper into the nether, and they found another fortress. As they entered, they were greeted by a bunch of blazes. They took care of them easily, though as they walked through, they figured out there was a big throne. This is where the arm strategy comes in. So I have to add a few words and remove a few words. So let's write throne and period. There was what was. There is no way the throne belonged to someone on their side. It had to be some kind of nether giant, or just as he thought, that a humongous dragon jumped out from behind him, breathing fire at Essence. He blocked the fire with his shield, and his sister, hiding behind him, took out his crossbow and kept on shooting the dragon as fast as he could. But he could. After he realized the dragon wasn't affected that much by the arrows, he decided to use his crossbow that he found, and found that there are there are ice arrows. He shot a few in the The dragon let out a mighty roar. He took out his sword and went right for the dragon and hit him in the head. He kept on hitting him until the dragon was defeated. The dragon felt dizzy, but was very surprised that Essence, a little tiny human, could beat beat. A ginormous, powerful dragon like him. It's another Drake. It's another Drake. So, the Drake went back on its throne and looked at Essence. He told Essence what he had to do to save the world. Chapter 17, The Portal. They ran out of the Nether Castle and ran into the Nether Portal. They went to their home, tear down their house, get their dragons, and get Eggdog. And Essence dumb 46 knife. Please tell me what a 46 knife is. After they tore down the house and got all the materials gathered up, the dragons and Eggdog flew to the Flare Forest. Many have dreaded this place for its awful creatures. They always killed you as soon as they saw you. Essence didn't care. He found the portal and went diving right into it. When his dragon saw the portal, it sped up even faster. Essence's sister and Eggdog tried to catch up. When they did, Essence was already in the portal. Part 2, coming soon. So that's an example of a narrative writing. So the point of a narrative writing is to be made up. It doesn't have to be completely made up. You can have some things that happen in real life and some things that didn't happen in real life. So they were made up. Thank you for watching this video, and I